was just watching something. You gotta block the sun, you gotta get your lighting right. Neighbors sitting over there, they see me sitting here talking to myself. Not talking to myself, I'm talking to you. Who are you? You are me. You are love and I am you. Seeing something about Shanghai where they just had a fucking huge COVID response. Shit, I shouldn't have said that word. I retract that statement. One of those crazy fucking illnesses that just won't quit. Let's put it that way. Like gonorrhea or something. Still can't see her. Hey, it's you.
Hey, it's me.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Survived the winter, did you?
Yep. It's the second time I've been able to take my shirt off all year.
Without getting real cold, huh?
Well, just for joy.
Yep.
But very good.
See you later.
I'm going to sit here and talk to myself for a minute.
Okay.
Some people call it meditating.
Okay. Well, I won't listen.
Oh, you're going to have to block your mind completely not to hear this. Right. Okay, thank you. Nice to see you. Had to make it acknowledged, otherwise she'd think I was a crazy guy in the next yard. And I think right there at the very end I caught it. So she does think I'm the crazy guy in the next yard. But before that I thought I was pulling it off pretty well. So I saw this thing about Shanghai and you know, I talk about places I've been. Shanghai was pretty cool. I actually got left in Shanghai for an extra 24 hours in the airport. I wasn't being held captive. I started the beginning of it on one of those damn rails where they throw the luggage down. I said, if you're not gonna let me run in there and catch that plane, I guess I'll just sleep here. And the woman's like, okay. I'm not even gonna try and reenact the conversation. My Chinese got pretty good at the end. But I don't eat Chinese food, so I don't get to practice. Isn't that a terrible stereotype? But it's the truth. The only people you can actually just start speaking Chinese to Zhongguoren, and they love you for speaking it to them because they're like, finally, I can express myself in my own fucking mind. I don't eat Chinese food. It's the only place you're gonna find somebody that fucking speaks Chinese and unhappy about it, you know. You run into somebody in the workplace that happens to be Chinese and they're trying to fucking hide it the whole time. And you're saying, Zhao Shanghao, and they're like, oh, good morning. And then, you know, wo you jing tui liang nan, I have a fucking dilemma. Oh, wo you jing tui, gentamata liang nan. I have a fucking dilemma. You gotta throw the gentamata in there. I think I got it right. So, I've been in Shanghai, and the interesting thing is between the two trips that I made to China, I was lying in the same bed where I read The Exorcist and made all the beds in the house shake. That's another story. I think I've already told it. But I was watching a thing on the MAGAlev, the magnetic levitation train that they had going to the Shanghai airport, Shanghai. AK said it means to beat somebody, Shanghai. That's what he said, but I haven't found it in my my vocabulary books anywhere. 在中国，我的名字是老家、李家、old家. There aren't many jazz that make it very long. 李家. Charismatic and admirable. You can't even split the fucking characters up. That's the only way they work, is to say it that way. It's just like Jupiter the god. So I was watching this thing about the MAGAlev between trips to China, and I didn't even know I was going back yet. And I said, you know what? That looks pretty fucking cool. And it was slated to open at a certain time, like May or something of the 1 year. And then I ended up getting called back, and as I was leaving, it just coincided with the time. It'd only been open for like 3-4 months. Nobody had died, so it meant it was safe enough for me, and I climbed on that fucker, and I was just so excited to have seen something that I might have missed on PBS. They shared something with me, and I thought that was the most fantastic thing. And then I started thinking about how all the people are starving and screaming in the streets and are probably going to disappear. Nobody's going to lie about them disappearing. They're just going to disappear. Nobody even bother asking because they know what happened. That's probably the problem we have here in the United States, is that we act like we're not making people disappear. That opens up all kinds of lawsuits. And Victoria, she said, don't talk about that. Talk about something happy. I said, well, I had a good time while I was there. I mean, you know, I got to ride the MAGAlev. It might have killed the cancer that was in me at the time. I've never been caught with cancers, but because I spend every few years around radiation, it just fucking kills it. I said, yeah, that is kind of sad. All these people fighting for food downtown, and oh my gosh. And I heard the one guy, the one reporter that's there from the US, he said he had to present his ID, and it correlated with his QR card. And that QR card thing, I hate to freak anybody out, but it was one of those things about 18 months ago I saw where they're doing facial recognition, and when you do something that's rude, it takes points off of you. And so when you try to buy someplace nice, no room left for the asshole. You know, isn't that funny? But yeah, they're down there starving. And they said this thing just went out of control. So Victoria said, don't talk about something like that. do something happy. And I said, look at that. I said, you're right. You're absolutely correct. I can't be just sharing sad stuff. Is there a stick in front of me somewhere? You thought I was doing a gorilla impression, but that's the sound of an alligator mating call. And my dad verified that story without even knowing he was doing it. Talked about one time he was in with the crowd, alligators, and they were going. I think they were trying to fuck him. So she said, don't say something terrible, don't say something sad. And I said, okay. And so I went on to Conan O'Brien. I'll give him credit. The only reason I don't give people credit is because I think they're going to be offended that I used their names. And he was going into the Guinness Brewery. And I said, well, there's another place I've been. So it just, I realized I'm leaving so many places out. But I was in Shanghai, Shanghai, saying it like you now, Vietnam. And then I was in Dublin, Ireland, and went to the Guinness Brewery. So Conan was going to the Guinness Brewery, and I figured I'd watch it. And it was just like, it was a fun time. It was a nice memory. It all looks different from back when it did in '97. They've really done a lot with the place. And the thing about that place, nothing like going to a tour on a brewery with people that don't drink, because they just keep handing you their tickets. And Budweiser, they blocked you down. Anheuser-Busch Brewery in, I don't know, somewhere Virginia way, they cut you off. But the Guinness Brewery, if people keep handing you tickets, they don't care where it came from. There's a ticket coming in. We said, we're going to serve you. And if you don't drink, somebody else does. And you get your pleasure out of that. And so, thank you so much, Conan, for going to the Guinness Brewery.